First of all, it's always these R&B people you gotta look out for, right? I swear to God, it's the voices like that. So if you see a baby boom by the end of the summer, from like now till October, and anything after the give back, if you hear they're pregnant, it's all Elliott Major's fault. But what's up, world? It's your homegirl, Ivy, Katie, whatever you want to call me. Just talk to me nice because we are here. We are on the road to the give back. Shout out to everyone that was on the mix. You will see them perform this Saturday at Sanger Hall. And of course, our featured interview today, Mr. Elliott Major, will be doing his thing. So if you don't support him at the Give Back on Saturday, you are known as a dub, and we have something for people like you. 1 second.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Dummy, yeah. Yeah. Dummy, yeah. Yeah. Dummy, yeah. Yeah.
I had one more song, but I wasn't hitting that over an hour mark with the Rawrrzone mix because I don't know if y'all know, but my man Elliott Major also did a remake of Lucky Days Over. So that's how I know this man is toxic. Extremely toxic. But whether you tuned in for our mix on the TikTok and you came from TikTok to here, or you're here celebrating Elliott Major, I want to shout out the evening experience once again for tapping in with us. Shout out to Aramis Bonano 6374. Shout out to my guy Mike Edwards, aka ATE Boys 2084. Shout out to produced by Diverse. He's here shouting out the man, the myth, the legend himself, Elliott. Guys, please, if you hear like what you see, tap in, subscribe to us. We are on the way to 500 subscribers. We need 25 or 30 more left, so please help a bitch out. A subscriber a day helps KDK from being on OnlyFans. Y'all think I'm joking, but I'm probably not. But without further ado, let me introduce y'all to our guest for today. And yes, I have notes, so please don't mind me because I'm old. But today on the Rawrrzone, we're taking a trip back to old school Brooklyn, New York, to sit down with an artist whose story is built on perseverance, purpose, and the power of simply just being the fuck there. Born Brandon Saunders, Elliott Major's journey began long before the studio. Raised in a household where music was always present, his mother introduced him to singing in a church at just 3 years old, while his father introduced him to the world of hip hop. Those influences became so significant that he will eventually carry them through his stage name, Elliott, his mother's maiden name, and Major, his father's first name. When many artists discover music early and never look back, Elliott's path wasn't that straightforward. The man himself was a crazy ass b-ball player, and music remained in the background until life redirected him into a different purpose. So, starting as a producer in '07 and evolving into a songwriter and recording artist, Elliott Major has spent 2 decades refining his craft while navigating setbacks, self doubt, and the challenges that come with being an introvert in an industry that always demands your motherfucking attention. Whew. Sorry. This man knows it's like channeling the inner KDK right now, right? From releasing projects like Reflecting Major Clouds and Just Show Up to founding EMS, Energy Motivation System, Elliott has turned his experience into a movement surrounded around growth, discipline, and resilience. This one hit me a little bit. His dedication paid off when he won first place at Jay Hatch's R&B playlist Creative Space Songwriter Showcase in 2024. If you don't know who Jay Hatch is, he was a pillar in the independent New York community. And not only in New York, he created a series of song camps giving artists of different genres an opportunity to enhance their craft and to take their talent to places they never went before. We lost Jay Hatch last year in his battle with cancer, so it's what he is one of the reasons why we could, even though it's not sarcoma, we still continue with our give back because he gave so much to these independent artists that we continue to live through his and Sean's and everyone's purpose. Um, that accomplishment with him led to him signing with Silent Success Entertainment. But we're gonna go talk about this because one, I don't know for the mere fact how the fuck Thought Provoker and Elliott Major got mad songs together, and I literally just found this out from working with artists like Mike Edwards, his time working with Jay Hatch. He's continued to show us why Just Show Up has been more than just his album, it's his blueprint for life. So, Rawrrzone, I need y'all to really give it up for the man, the myth, the legend, Elliott Major.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yo, I saw you jump on and I saw your lighting. I'm like, this motherfucker. I'm like here trying to finesse my lighting to look like that. And it never worked. And mind you, I'm a photographer, so imagine how the fuck I feel
Oh man. I
trying to
mean,
get
I
that.
was trying to figure out exactly where I was gonna, do this at, but it kind of made sense because this is actually a homemade vocal booth that I have that's in my house that my pops actually helped build and design. So it just, it made sense.
That's really cool though. You know what that reminds me of? So back in the pandemic, I interviewed Chris Rivers, right? Big Pun's son.
Mm.
And he built a whole recording studio under his bunk bed.
Oh wow.
So it was like one of those like trundle bunk beds. And like he did the DIY with the walls and insulating the soundproof. And
Hmm.
just sat there and did a whole interview from his bunk bed.
Hey, listen, that was the time. That's actually when I did created my home studio setup with this booth also back in 2020. So it was like around that time I was kind of going back and forth. My father was living in Pennsylvania at the time, and he kind of just drew up this idea because I kind of showed him what my basement was looking like, and he designed this. So we kind of just put our heads together and just put it together, and a lot of stuff has been created in this space right here.
It feels amazing, right? When you can have your own space to do what you like.
Absolutely.
Like I have this obviously like we have our actual studio where we do Rawrrzone, like but because I had my mom living with me at the time, we didn't get to use it as much. So I turned this room into an office so I could still do it and still have like that professional look, but
Right.
not spending like $50 an hour on a studio.
It'll definitely save you a lot of money to have that set up in the home. It'll definitely save you a lot of money.
Um, we got more people tapped in for you. We got Mike Edwards back in here that let this go hits every time.
Salute,
Uh,
salute.
we have produced by the verse say somebody call the motherfucking EMS. It's the legend himself.
That's my
Yo,
guy DJ.
you got a whole fan base. I'm like looking here like, yo, I'm not worthy right now. Like, what?
Nah, that's family right there. Mike and DJ, that's my brothers right there.
I mean, let me get the fangirling out of the way now, because that's my little big brother. How did y'all link together? Like, you were the last, so I figured maybe you were like one of the Long Island people that he always be chilling with. But then I saw you with Thought Provoker. I'm like, okay, how the fuck did you get caught up with upstate and this and
Well, me and Mike actually we met playing basketball at LA Fitness in Levittown. And we was always like hooping, and I think one of the times I think music kind of just like was brought up, and he said he did music. I said I did music. We both like heard each other's stuff, and we always talked about working together, and it just never lined up until one day he was like, "Yo, I got this beat that I've just had in the stash. I'm gonna send it to you. Just come up with an idea." And send it to me. I had it for like probably like 2 months before I kind of just like put something together and just had the hook. And I sent it to him, and it just snowball effect from there. And but that's my guy, man. Good brother.
and then you end up like, and then how'd you end up being a Thought Provoker? Because like I said, one end of New York to the other.
Well, Thought Provoker, I've known him since middle school, high school. He was actually my little brother's best friend. And we played ball together in high school, pickup games, and honestly, Thought Provoker and my little brother Benji, salute to him. They both were rapping before I even started. They're actually low key the reason why I even started learning how to record or making beats or anything like that, because they were just they've been doing it since young. And then when I started to see them, nobody really was giving them the time of day to kind of like record. So I learned by testing, recording on myself. And it just, I mean, those two are just like, those are hands down like my favorite rappers that I know. Like, just Thought Provoker is just an MC to the core. You know what I'm saying? And he just knows how to put those words together. And from when I knew him back then to where he's at right now, the elevation is just astronomical. So I've known him. That's family. That's my brother for life.
I mean, I love the dynamic you and him have because I watched you guys perform at the 5 or 5,000 experience, and
Hmm.
like I said, it surprised me because I didn't know you fucking rapped. But the way you two played off each other, it made sense now. The amount of tracks you guys have together, you have
Mm.
that. I'm trying to think of the way you two played it off was reminded me of the video I saw of Jay-Z and Nas going off of each other when they were doing Yankee Stadium last week. Like
Okay.
you guys didn't skip a beat type of situation.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think that also plays into, again, we used to play ball, and we still do at times. Like, we play ball together and all of that. So it's just that chemistry was built from way back when. So, and then when it comes down to creating, we already have those. We already have the idea of how we're gonna approach certain things. So by the time we get to the stage, it's just in sync. And we actually completed a song. What was it? A couple days ago. That
Another
is
one?
something. Yeah, a couple days ago. That's actually the complete opposite of what you would normally hear Thought Provoker on.
Really?
And yeah, it's an exciting, and we're actually we might perform that on the 25th. So you'll see exactly what I'm
Hey,
saying, but like it's just a huge different leap from what you would normally hear him on, and he did a phenomenal job.
I love seeing that, right? Because also Thought Provoker is mad quiet.
Absolutely.
I'm
But
like,
not on
if
that
it
stage
wasn't
though.
for you, I don't know if I would have seen more of the personality, which really sucks because he has such talent, but because he's an introvert like you, he's kind of not showing it as much.
I think he shows it. He's a quiet individual, like when it comes to just like focusing and locking in. But then when he gets on that stage, he's not quiet. The dude is
And
he's a
that's
lion.
right.
Yeah,
Because
he's a lion.
he performed one road to the very first road to the give back because my cousin Jackie, um, she was working with him, like she still works with him, but she put him on like, yo, he got bars, but then I didn't see him until the 5 or 5,000, and I'm like, yo, where you been? He's like he said he had a new project dropping the next day, but like after he performed. So I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, now imagine if he was more extroverted about it, how far he could get. He could be like you.
I mean, honestly, like if you see him on his social media, he is very, very like he's out there, like outspoken. Like when it comes to that, like he is a professional. Like he's out there. He's in the spaces. Like I mean, we did a show. Myself and the Sound Success team. We did a show in Boston, maybe like 2 weekends back, and I seen him by far, it was probably one of the best performances that I've seen from him. And he went in there quiet as normal. And we had two back-to-back shows. And he went up there and just lit the stage. Like, we're talking just very, very animated. Projection was on point, and he didn't miss a beat, for 2 days in a row. So, like, he he's come a long way, and he continues to progress. Like, continues to progress. He's ultimate professional, showman.
So, like I said during the intro, and I talked about your name because for me, I love it because you carry your parents' legacy. Like, I keep the K in my name because my last name is Kufales, and I keep my family with me.
Mm.
But your stage name is so personal. You have your mom's maiden name as well as your father's first name. How important was it for you to carry both of your parents' legacies into your music career? And do you think your music reflects pieces of each of them?
Um. Well, with the name, it's funny because Elliott Major is actually my two middle names. So it kind of it makes sense due to the fact of it's me, and honestly, growing up, I did not like my middle names. Didn't like them. So I just really just kind of shied away from them. But it also, even with that, I also shied away from music also, like when I was younger, because I was shy, introverted. It wasn't even something that I pictured myself doing. But when it started to make sense that this is the path that I was going to be on, it made sense for me to go with Elliott Major because both both sides are very, very instrumental in who I am as an artist. Like, on the singing side, that's my mom, like, all the way through and through. She's a singer. She was singing in the church choir. Uh, she sings whenever she can. And Major on the rapping side, on the hip hop side, that's my father introduced me to hip hop. Like, he introduced me to Tupac, which is one of my favorite rappers. He was heavy into like West Coast rappers, so Ice Cube, Ice T, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. Um, so both of those are very, very instrumental in how I approach music because of the simple fact that I balance both of them. So it's very, very important that I carry that with me, wherever I go, especially on this path.
You spent years singing in the church before even considering being a hip hop artist. Looking back now, how much of your time in the church influenced both your confidence, your stage presence, and your relationship with music?
Well, I mean, with singing in the church, I was very, very young. And once again, I was extremely shy, extremely introverted. It was not something that I wanted to do. Like, early on, I didn't want to be in front of people talking, let alone singing. So I stopped really doing anything in regards to that. I'll say around like 8 or 9 years old. But I was always into music, like listening to it. And I always looked at it as people that rap and sing, like they're like these mythical creatures, like they are superhuman or something like that. And I never thought that I would be even anywhere near close to doing anything like that. So, like, even when I seen like my brother for the first time rapping, I was like, whoa, I didn't think like he does this too. Like, he's one of them too, and it wasn't until later on after I graduated high school that I started to, tap in slowly into music. My pops got me uh, a Mac Mini. I was using GarageBand, making beats and stuff, trying to,
Yeah.
yeah, trying to like, figure that out. And then when I started to see Thought Provoker and Benji, my brother, I seen them advancing with their writing and rapping. I was just like, you know what? Let's try to figure out how to do this recording stuff. And as I was doing that, I was testing on stuff that I would write or just recording. So I was kind of just teaching myself how to rap and record and all of these things. And it slowly, music helped me get over that shyness, get over that introvertedness. And it would build, slowly built that confidence. It just took, years and years of doing that. And it just went hand in hand. Like music was therapy for me. But it also got to where I was able to be in front of people comfortably and be able to rap. Like singing, honestly, I wasn't able to confidently do it until probably then, and this is no exaggeration, probably 2023.
Wow.
Around the time I started going to the creative space camps, that's when I started to get real extremely confident with singing, like in front of people on stage, and without even just like hesitation and thinking about it too much.
I'm glad you actually bringing up the creative space and talking about how you got out of that because being that you are an artist, you've been also an artist for about 20 years, so that's different generations of this game where we've gone from you have to be foot to mouth on the ground to now having to be on social media 24/7 in an era where artists are now expected to consistently create and always be on. How difficult was it for you to balance who you were with what the industry expects?
Um, Extremely. Just trying to I think the thing with nowadays when you're on social media or any type of platform where you have to like show who you are or showcase your music, there's always a gimmick. And a lot of people, you know, gear towards what the gimmick is. And sometimes it's not necessarily who they are for real. And that's not something that I was willing to, compromise. I'm not willing to compromise myself to try to get the approval of the masses or whoever that may be. So I have to try to find that balance of how can I go about being on social media, being myself, and still market the craft that I work on. And it's tough because one, trying to figure out what that is, what your niche is, and all of that, and then two, the consistency. Those are the key elements in what this game is now. Like you have to be consistent with it, and it's tough. It's definitely difficult because you also have to find exactly what you have to say or what you have to say and find your voice and consistently do that and try to keep capturing your audience, keep capturing, people without, you know, being too gimmicky.
So J Hatch with this created such an incredible platform with the R&B playlist creative space as well as the song camps. Um, while it's such an amazing experience, it could also be quite intimidating because they require a lot of vulnerability and collaboration. How did this experience help take you out of that introvertedness and help level you to how who you are right now?
And
I really
it
put a lot of
really
effort into this, as you could tell.
oh yeah, I can say and I appreciate you. Salute to you because these are great questions. Um I think the best way that I can explain what it did was talking about my first creative space camp. I went to it. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what I was doing, what this was about. I had no clue. And it's a very interesting story because my first creative space camp was the actual birth of the song Waiting. And when I went there, salute to Tycho Beats. I was paired with him to, create songs and all of that type of stuff. And normally the day before the creation day, you know who you're paired up with as songwriters with producers, and you guys get to send, beats and start, writing right away, like the night before going into the next day. And my partner wasn't there, and I had no way of contacting him. I didn't know who it was. I didn't have him on social media. I had nothing. So I'm going into the next day. This is my first day. I'm around a whole bunch of people that have done this before, and I'm like, all right, we just gonna let this play out. So I go there, and Tycho shows up, and we talked for like a little bit, and he sent me probably like 3 beats, and I'm listening to them on my AirPods while everybody is, getting ready to, go to it. Everybody was talking about, oh yeah, I got this song done, I did this, and all of that. And I'm just sitting there like, all right, well, let's see. So I'm playing this one beat over and over, probably like 3, 4 different times. And I just started writing this hook. And I completed it, and I'm, going over it to make sure that I have it down. J Hatch comes in and he's like, who's ready to go? So I looked around, nobody was jumping to go to the booth. So I was like, well, let me get this out the way. No, in any other place, I would never do this. I would never just step up and just be like, oh yeah, I'll go first. That's not who I was. So something just came over me. I was just like, all right, let's just go in there. And just laid down the hook, and it kind of just set the tone for the rest of the day. J Hatch was giving me a lot of feedback. He was, helping as far as, you know, maybe you should add a layer here and arranging and all of that type of stuff. So in that moment, it was just in itself, it made me step out of the comfort zone of what I normally would do. And that would just, kind of just shy to the back and let somebody else do it, or wait for somebody else to do it before, going myself. But I kind of just threw myself into, deep waters. And praise God, I was able to, something came out of it.
Being that you said that was the start of Waiting, right? Um, how do you feel about the progression of the song from the time you debuted it at the creative space to where you are now? Because that performance on Bar to Bar TV is phenomenal.
I appreciate that. Honestly, like Waiting is just like it has its own story in itself. Like I'm created that, in the midst of a lot of hardships were going on within the time that it was the hook was written, the time that I finished the verses, even the time that I did the bar for bar. So it's just like it's an ongoing it's like an ongoing story, but it's also one of the reasons why I'm kind of in the position that I'm in right now. Jay Hatch, rest in peace. He said that was one of his favorite songs. And
It's my
anytime I seen him, he was playing it. We was at R&B playlist. He would play it. Um, we went to certain events. He was playing it. He would show it to other people. Um, the one showcase that I one of the showcases that I met Rufus Black, he played that for him, and that, you know, it pretty much got me to where I'm at Sound Success. So that one song is just the key that opened a lot of doors.
I unfortunately, I had one opportunity to work with J Hatch. Right, I had did one of the very few networking mixes. I think I really want to bring back, because it'll lead to this next question after. But J Hatch was supposed to be a speaker and talk about all this, and unfortunately, that was right around the
Mm,
time where cancer came back. So, I
mm,
never had the unfortunate pleasure to share the room with him, but just
oh
hearing what
man.
you're saying and hearing, because he was managing Bianca, for
Yes.
the last year or two of his life, from what I understand,
Mm,
and just the work he did with her elevated her. And I see, he came up with the blueprint of what a successful R&B artist needs, in my opinion.
mm.
Um, Looking at today's music landscape, do you think there is enough, if any, and because I haven't seen any spaces like creative space that really genuinely invest in artists? Hi, Paula.
Um, I would definitely say, it's no bias because I'm over there. Science Success Entertainment. I mean, and it a lot of people, you know, that we have over there. The Aaron Stacks, Kwame Knowledge, Zay Bando, Xavier Red, um, myself, Thought Provoker. Like we're all over there, and you know, Rufus Black and Mia Moore, like they actually believe in us and really pour into us. You know, a lot of the opportunities that we probably wouldn't even get on our own,
Oh, my bad,
they
Case.
they they put that investment into us, because it's not even just like it's even more than just that. It's just like family, ministry, and they, not for nothing, just from myself, where Jay Hatch left off, Rufus Black and Mia Moore picked up, in my opinion, for me. And I know that in certain cases I think there's a void when it comes to that. Like a lot of independent artists don't have that. They don't have that support system. Not even just a support system, but they don't have the opportunity or the space to grow or even get developed, or the development part. And that's what creative space was about when Jay Hatch, was there. And what Silent Success is now. It's just all about the development and growth of independent artists. And salute to Bianca. Like that's actually one of the people that I was working with the first time I went to creative space. And, you know, amazing talent. And what Jay Hatch did with her was, again, phenomenal work. Like Jay Hatch, he is missed, in the world of music, because not there's not too many people that are doing what he did. They're there, what I'm saying? Like I said, Sound Success, we here, and there's others that are out there, but it's about just trying to find what works for the individual independent artist.
I like the name Silent Success because it implies let your work speak for itself. How does their
Exactly.
philosophy align with who you are as an artist, as a businessman?
It doesn't just align, it makes sense because that's who I am. I mean, I'm not really big on just, talking outside of just like leaving it on the court or leaving it on the floor or leaving it on the stage. Like what we were talking about with Thought Provoker. Not too much talking that goes on, kind of just zoned out in his headphones. When he gets on that stage, it's a different individual, it's a different person. I approach it the same exact way. And Science Success is just, the work is silent. It's not something that you're gonna see. It's not gonna be just in your face, but the result is extremely loud. And that's how it should be. Just like what you just said, like you let the work speak for you. And, you know, I'm I'm Sign Success. Sign Success is me. That's just what I stand for. And that's what we all stand for.
I'm like here fluttering through my papers. Got like 3-4 pages of this, so you could only imagine. And I'm trying to keep it within a 2 hour show, so Pulse 82.3 FM doesn't get mad at me for going over. I love you, Steph. I promise I'm not going over. Since joining the label, we've seen how you evolve as an artist, but how has your sense of business changed working with such a creative collective?
um, it's changed tremendously because it's happening. Like everything is, a lot of the stuff that we've, dreamed of or worked towards or, grinded towards and anything like it's happening. And sometimes it's even gotten to the point where it's like, is this real? Like this is really happening? But and that's good to have those type of moments, but sometimes you just got to snap out of it and then realize, okay, now it's time to work. Like this is what it is. But I enjoy every step of it. Every new opportunity, even the high points, the low points. Uh, there's a lot of wins and a lot of losses, but it's all part of the journey and the main goal.
So, the debate is always there, right? And being that you signed to an independent label, I want to get your opinion on this. Because a lot of people are like, I could do this all by myself. What are the misconceptions, being part of a label now versus doing this by yourself?
Um, well, I mean, for me coming from both sides, I mean, I was doing it, on my own by myself, and it's fine. But when you have a team, a family of individuals that we all have the same common goal, we have the same uh aspirations when it comes to this, it makes things easier, you know? I mean, me coming from a background of sports, a team, you guys got to come together. No one is bigger than the program. No one is above, the bigger picture. And when you have everybody that understands that things happen, when you're continuing to work, you're pushing each other, you're holding each other accountable, and you're showing up for each other. I mean, I think that's like the main thing, how we all show up, from guy one all the way to whoever it is on the team. We all show up for each other, and we show up for ourselves when it comes down to the work that we know that we have to put in. So I think when you're doing it by yourself, and there's nothing wrong with going on this path on your own, because you have to do it to learn certain lessons, learn certain things. But who wouldn't want to have a team that actually has you? I think that's the important part. And not just to just have a team, but you have to have the right dynamic around you that is going to better make yourself better. That's going to help you level up. That's going to help you grow. That's going to help you reach the form that you're supposed to be. And we have to see that within each other. And that's what Sign Success is all about. We see that in each other, and we make sure that every single one of us gets to that plateau, or help each other get to that plateau.
So I hope everyone here that's tuned in, because I want to meet all of them, because it's half of them you've already mentioned that's in the group, in the chat right now. I want to
Mhm.
see y'all all on Saturday so I can meet all of y'all.
Uh,
Um,
Sign
cause,
Success will definitely be in the building for
cause they
sure.
seem like a real support system. Like I've never seen comments get flooded like this over. Like you see people have a support system, but these motherfuckers here, yo, shout out to all of y'all. Like, and I'm not
Salute.
saying motherfuckers in the highest regard right now. We're in the season of giving back. It is Sarcoma Awareness Month, and even though you might not be doing the give back because you have somebody that's affected by sarcoma, but you giving back for your own reasons. What does giving back mean to you, and how are you feeling going towards Saturday's event?
Giving back is important because, you know, in life, everybody has, you know, something that's going on. Everybody in life has a story and some type of hardship. And even when you're going through something, there's always somebody else is going through something that's much, much more than what we can even imagine. So like when you have the opportunity to help somebody, whether it's, one person, two people, or five, tens, hundreds, thousands, it's only going to make our surrounding that much more better. You know what I'm saying? And it's a godlike thing, just, lending a helping hand. If you reach one person, that person's life will be forever changed just based off of whatever that small action or some type of way that you help that person is going to change their life forever. And you always pay it forward because you help that person can help somebody else. So I mean, it's always important to give back and just be a good human being. And I'm definitely looking forward. I'm excited to the 25th to do just that through music, but also just being present and showing up. And
I love that.
yeah, it's just important.
So I have a couple of more questions left. This one is going to be quite a big one. So please bear with me.
So no problem.
EMS, energy motivation system. Um, someone needs to call the EMS. I found that so funny. But obviously it means something beyond the whole. Hey, can I get an EMT to bring me back to life? Can you break down the definition, but also tell us how this became something beyond music, whether it was mentorship, community outreach, but how this impacts people outside of entertainment?
Somebody called it EMS. That's a slogan that I either yell or kind of harmonize in the beginning or the end of a lot of the music that I've done. And EMS is something that I actually created and started from myself, Thought Provoker, and my brother Benji. So that was like our group, that was our music group. And the meaning behind it is just the same exact thing how Silent Success is. That's what I embody. EMS is the same exact thing. Energy, you have to have the right energy in everything that you do, and you have to have the right energy around you. Motivation, you have to be motivated to do the work. And system, there's always a nuance, or you have to be a machine. Like you have to implement all of those things in order to get the job done. And those are the things that when I approached music, those are the things that was always in the back of my mind pushing this forward. And EMS, we did for about 3 years, we did this thing called Every Monday September, which also a play on that, where me and Thought Provoker would release songs or projects every Monday in September. And we're probably going to bring that back at some point. but
Yeah.
but it was it was my EMS was my learning curve. Like I learned on the go all of the stuff that I implement now that I'm a part of Silent Success. I was, when it came down to we had to get visuals done, I was, shooting visuals for myself. I was shooting visuals for Thought Provoker, my boy Chevy, um, and editing them and trying to get stuff, ready to go so we could put the stuff out in, for every Monday in September. And, it was and it still is a learning experience. Like it's a big part of who I am. I wouldn't be the artist that I am without the steps that I took with creating and carrying EMS everywhere that I go. And it's, again, EMS is me, Silent Success is me, EMS is Silent Success is EMS. It's all together.
So first of all, shout out to Rufus Black for really liking this interview. We are heading into a little vacation after the give back and after our last couple of interviews, but we'll be back sometime September, October-ish. So if you guys want to set up interviews with the rest of the artists, please feel free to reach out. We could definitely make that work, especially if all of y'all got talent like this dude. Whew!
Absolutely. And big bro Rufus Black will be in the building. That's a he J Hatch and Rufus Black are probably one of the major influences on me when it comes down to, music and where I am right now. Like I wouldn't even be anywhere near close to where I'm at right now without both of them. And Rufus Black, I mean, this is a guy who's decades in the music industry, writing for Salt and Pepper, Destiny's Child, Omarion, B2K, Faith Evans, Angie Stone, like, the list goes on and on. For this guy to be that instrumental in the music game to, take a chance on someone like myself, I mean, it's a humbling experience. And it's like, you know, I can't thank him enough. I'm indebted, to him and me and more for everything that they've done, for myself and everybody else that's on Sign Success. And he will be in the building on the 25th and might even be a little surprised there. So, not gonna talk too much about it, but he will definitely be in the building along with everybody else from Sign Success.
I love it. I love it. In the spirit, as we are in our ninth year of Welcome to the Raw Zone, I've been asking guests as we go into our 10th, so I could clip this easier and not harass y'all next year. Um, what does getting raw mean to you?
Hmm. Um, I think it's an in-depth look on, yourself. You're tapping into that inner, it could be your inner creative, that inner fire that gets you motivated. I think it's that vulnerable awakening, I guess you could say. It just helps you tap into that higher level of who you are as an artist, creative, human being, whatever your path is going to be. It just helps you tap into that.
Now, my last question, and we always end with something like this. If Raw Zone, and I'm speaking this into the masses, if this show became a time capsule for music culture and someone sees this 50 years from now, what would you want them to remember about Elliott Major, but not only as an artist, but as the consummate individual behind the music?
Wow. Okay. Um,
I know.
Okay. I would say I would want people to remember the fact that Elliott Major always showed up. Didn't matter what was going on, what was happening, but he always showed up and, you know, did what he could to get the job done. And the and showed the importance of showing up. Show up and let it play out and put it in God's hands and he'll take it from there.
Okay, one last question because you just brought up one question I meant to ask you before, but it'll
Mm.
tie into the closing. Um, because you talk about just showing up. How do you can you describe now that you've grown as this individual, as this person, as I shuffle with my papers? If you were to look back in your time capsule in the chapters of your life, where are you when reflecting major clouds and show up? So who are you in each one of those times? And then waiting.
Um reflecting reflecting I was reflecting I was green, extremely green. I didn't know I knew this was something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know, you know, how to go about it. Reflecting was just that part of okay, trying to find my voice. Major clouds, um, learning how to be the sponge, like learning how to take in information, learning how to uh figure out what it is that I needed to learn from not knowing. Just show up was just show up was taking
I got him
taking your
stumped.
fear, taking my fear and not letting it affect the outcome of what I feel in my heart of hearts I'm supposed to be doing. And waiting is waiting is kind of just showing me that I can. I think like waiting is probably like the waiting was the song that and shout out to Rufus Black. And one of the things that he told me at the Creative Space Camp with Jay Hatch, he felt like I was a pretty good songwriter. The concepts was great, but he felt like I was holding back. And one of the things was he said, "You're holding back from your superpower." And I heard him, but I didn't know what it meant. But I also knew that it was something that I had to figure out. And Waiting is the song where I figured it out. And not only figure it out, but it showed that I can do it. So waiting, yeah, I would say waiting is, yeah, Elliot, you can do this.
He survived the hot seat. Oh man, I want to first and foremost thank you, Elliot, for being here with us. Thank you for being such a professional, so talented, and you're very humble, and it shows through the you could tell just within the conversation we had, you have essence of J Hatch in you, and I'm pretty sure he's looking up from there. So proud of you. I know everyone in this chat is immensely proud of you right now. and what we talk about here and looking at your support system is what we always hope for when we talk about the give back and getting people involved. um you know so the community you have is what we always aspire to have, and I want to thank you for being here. um Please tell everyone where they can find you.
First and foremost, thank you for having me. I mean, this was amazing. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, who_is_Elliott. Elliott with two L's and two T's. Elliott Major on all streaming platforms. You can also find me on Science Success page, Science Success Entertainment. Um, you can also find me on YouTube, Elliott Major. I think it's also who_is_Elliott. And yeah, man. Salute to the team. Shout out Science Success, Rufus Black, Mia Moore, Aaron Stacks, Xavier Red, Thought Provoker, Kwame Knowledge, Zay Bando, Yana. I think that's everybody. Oh, Benji and Shed Robinson and Arami. And yeah, man. See you on the 25th.
Rufus Black, thank you so much for such amazing words. Like I said, I'm going to talk with Elliott to get you on when we come back in September. I really want to sit down with you, especially just after what he said about the amount of people. You are a testament of music history.
Absolutely.
So I do thank you for tapping in with us. Once again, thank you to everyone from Silent Access Entertainment, EMS, AT Boys, Thought Provoker. You probably in here somewhere. Everyone that tapped in via TikTok for our mix. Shout out to Puso 82.3 FM, and of course the Evening Rush Radio Network. You catch this interview live on the radio stations in 2 weeks. We have the beautiful Gabri. So if you haven't checked our interview with her from last week, it will be on the Evening Rush Radio Network and Pulse 82.3 FM this week. But I leave everyone with this parting words because you can find us everywhere at Rawrrzone NYC, and you could catch us at the Give Back 4820 Skillman Avenue this Saturday from 7 to 11 p.m. And of course, you could catch me on the Gorilla Talk podcast this Wednesday. We have Ash to Snow on Monday. That way I am one step closer to a vacation. Let me put this uh last comment up because I don't want to leave anyone's voices unheard. But I leave y'all with this positive words of advice from the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Keaton.
I've got one more thing to say, and it'll only take me a second. I've got two words that I want you all to remember. They're very important. And if I leave you with anything, I'm going to leave you with these two words. And those two words are, I'm Batman.
All under 2 hours, guys. Good night.
Salute.